The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defence Minister YOAV GALLANT for alleged war crimes in Gaza.
Like it's been reported in various news media and on social media as well, over the issuance by ICC, like you heard from the reporter here on my channel, that arrest warrant has been issued to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu and the former defense minister, including Hamas.DEFENSE as well, over the killings in the Middle East, in Israel. So it remains to be seen what is going to happen, how Benjamin Netanyahu, the arrowhead of this conflict, is going to be arrested. It remains to be seen. You will hear more in this broadcast of mine what Benjamin Netanyahu is planning to do. And I think he's trying now also to gather supporters all around the world together with him. Hungarian Prime Minister has already joined in the fight against the ICC. The United States of America also has joined them, has joined Benjamin Netanyahu in the fight to defend Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. Majorly to defend Benjamin Netanyahu. Let me give you what he has to say as well, because he also spoke when the arrest warrant was issued by ICC over him to get him arrested. So he got angry. He put on his anger as usual, showing that he's the boss. He's the boss over all the countries of the world, which the ICC is trying to prove him wrong right now. So the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, denounced the International Criminal Court as anti-Semitic after it issued arrest warrant for him and former Defense Minister YOAV GALLANT over alleged war crimes in Gaza, vowing to defend Israel. On my channel here, I've also brought to you the chronicle of this war. I brought to you report from one-time U.S. President Jimmy Carter telling us the real story behind this war in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine, and his own effort to make sure that this problem got solved during his own time in power. So I think I want you to go back and check, what I've said or what Jimmy Carter has said on this channel as well. So you see now, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, with his way, is always like that, on the edge, trying to defend all the wrongs that they are perpetrating in Israel. So Benjamin Netanyahu described the International Court as anti-Semitic. So when it comes to that matter, they are anti-Semitic. So on Thursday, after issued arrest warrants to him and he's a former defense minister, vowing it will not deter him from defending Israel. So it continues. So the arrest warrants continues. So Israel opposition leader Yair Lapid also criticized the arrest warrants, accusing the court of rewarding terrorism. You see, that is it. And that is why I want you to know their reaction towards this. Because when you say International Criminal Court, if they are signatory to it, definitely they have to answer for it as well. You understand? So International Criminal Court is international, that deals with issues like this. So what is going on in that region? The majority of people have condemned it, and they said it is ethnic cleansing. It is genocide. So actually, they don't want anybody to call it genocide. But I just want you to listen to this report from ABC. So the video played in the first time. I played by the beginning of this video. My video is from ABC, and the reporter on ground over there will tell you what actually is going on. So the arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant were issued as suspicion of crime against humanity and war crimes committed in Gaza since Hamas' October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. So no outrageous anti-Israeli decision will prevent us. So nothing will prevent them from going on with their ethnic cleansing that they are doing over there, taking over the lands. And it will not prevent me from continuing to defend our country in every way. Netanyahu said in a video statement, "We will not yield to pressure," he vowed. Earlier, Netanyahu compared the ICC decision to a modern-day Dreyfus trial, referring to an infamous 19th century case in which French Jewish army Captain Alfred Dreyfus was unfairly convicted of treason. So, he said, Israeli rejected with a disgust the absurd and false accusation and action made against it. The judge were driven by anti-Semitic hatred of Israel. He said Netanyahu alleged that the warrants were on attempt by ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan to save him from serious accusation of sexual harassment. Khan has denied the allegation. So you see, pushing it back to Khan, pushing it left and right, at least to absolve themselves. I mean, you know, you are being accused. I think he's supposed to answer for what he's been accused for, and not to attack the head of ICC. So the president, Isaac Herzog, described the court as a move, as a dark day for justice, while Foreign Minister Gideon Soar said the ICC had lost all legitimacy. So condemning left and right. So I want you to listen to the reporter on ground from ABC, what he has to say and what he's seen over there, and the reaction of the people on ground in Israel and in Palestine. I'll come back to you after you listen to this.
Good morning. These arrest warrants were issued by the ICC after months of deliberation following a request from the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan to consider whether or not this measure needed to be put in place. And what the ICC has found is that, yes, there are reasonable grounds to believe that Benjamin Netanyahu and his now former Defence Minister YOAV Gallant are responsible for war crimes and also crimes against humanity. Specifically, these war crimes are dealing with the use of starvation as a weapon of war, something that is prohibited under international conventions. And when it comes to crimes against humanity, it is saying that the two men are responsible for things such as murder, persecution and inhumane treatment of Palestinians in Gaza throughout the course of this war. We do need to stress this isn't a suggestion that Benjamin Netanyahu and YOAV Gallant were on the ground committing such alleged offences. This is saying that as the leaders of the Israeli government and being in charge of the Israeli Defence Force, they are responsible as effectively the commanders there, the top civilians involved there. The ICC has also issued an arrest warrant for the head of Hamas's military command, that is Mohammed Deif. This is a man who Israel says they believe they have actually killed, but that has never been confirmed by Hamas. And he is being accused under these arrest warrants of war crimes and crimes against humanity as well, for the murder, the rape, the torture of Israeli hostages back on October 7 when this war in Gaza began. The reaction that we've heard from the Israeli political class is pretty much all the same. Certainly all of the major parties, even those who are critics of Benjamin Netanyahu, have come out in support of him, saying that the ICC has overstepped here, that it is excusing Hamas's actions on October 7, going so far as to say that it is anti-Semitic. And we've heard from the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu himself, in a very strongly worded video statement within the last half hour or so. He says that this is moral bankruptcy on behalf of the International Criminal Court, and he will not be swayed.
Citizens of Israel, no outrageous anti-Israeli decision will prevent us, and it will not prevent me, from continuing to defend our country in any way. We will not give in to pressure. Together we will stand, together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will win.
Matthew, what does this now mean for Australia?
This is a really interesting question, Emma, because Australia is one of the member countries of the International Criminal Court. There are more than 120 countries around the world which recognise its jurisdiction. Israel does not. That is why it can come out and make these sort of statements against the ICC's decision here. It is rejecting its jurisdiction. So too is the United States, also not a member to the ICC. And we've heard from the White House that it rejects these arrest warrants and is critical of them being pursued pursued when war is still ongoing, saying it's a rush by prosecutors there. There will be a lot of questions being put to the Australian government as to how it will react. Will it enforce these arrest warrants if, for example, Benjamin Netanyahu or YOAV Gallant were to travel to Australia? We've heard from a number of other countries, including Canada, France, the Netherlands already this evening here in Jerusalem, saying that they will enforce these arrest warrants if Benjamin Netanyahu was to lob into their countries. But on the issue of Australia, this has been put to Anthony Albanese in the past when these were first being considered. He didn't want to speculate, saying that this was something he wanted the court to consider, and those questions will now be put to the government, of course. We have heard from Professor of International Law at the Australian National University in Canberra, Don Rothwell, and he has sort of explained what the equation now will be for the Australian government.
If Netanyahu or Gallant were to arrive in Australia, either in their current capacities or at some point in the future, even when Benjamin Netanyahu was no longer Prime Minister and the arrest warrants were still pending, Australia would be under a very clear obligation to give effect to those arrest warrants and to detain and arrest these individuals upon their arrival in Australia.
That is Don Rothwell from the ANU. So while that might be a hypothetical, it's not necessarily a case of Benjamin Netanyahu jumping on a plane and heading to Australia anytime soon. More broadly, this is a very significant measure because it will further affect how countries around the world deal with the Netanyahu government while this conflict is ongoing. Questions as to those diplomatic and political ties no doubt being asked throughout the day.
Now that you've been informed about what the ICC wants to do, what the Israel want to do, Hamas himself also what they want to do, and what the whole world will have to do about this case hanging on the neck of Benjamin Netanyahu, you can make do of the information, but don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next time.